Yeah, just like pop got me, I'm rolling. I'm stalling, can put your legs round me. Yeah. Give me the bad boy, it don't take. Now I don't upgrade to big in my schooling. Yeah. Only they want look for my trouble. Why do they wanna bust my bubble? Say my bubble, my bubble. Profits must have come in double. The pressure can you handle it? Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it. The pressure can you handle it? Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it.
I guess the wacky of the done who we done stupid, done gone cupid. So he wanted done to be his Julie. He wanted done to done his jewelry. Tom Fury, blow his mind, Tom the Mooney. I'm tuning, looking life, give it to me. I'm choosing, it just looks like I'm me. Can you punish me and let me truly? I need duality, no one in movie. Satisfy my mind with my body. Baby, do it to me like Scooby. Keep it on me like the piece of Zuli.
The pressure can you handle it? Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it. The pressure can you handle it? Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it.
Tell the way your body nice and good up, yeah. And a DJ, but me want pull up, yeah. In a dance, where your F class full up, yeah. I create there, push and blame. Yeah, you see the girl now the corner. A wine like a head never sober. You see the girl if you know. From she was a wine, yeah, it's so far, yeah. You say anything you want me, we'll try for do it. All the things where your boyfriend don't like for do it. Your brown skin, yeah, me like to see. And me have for one price when me want for key, yeah. She said, check cause you're better than bad. Yeah, the thing loud, never drop his standard, yeah. Let me tell you if you never know, if a yard man need African girl. Yeah.
Just like pop got me, I'm rolling. No stalling, can put your legs round me. Yeah. Give me the bad boy, it don't take. Now I don't
school me. Can you punish me and let me truly? I need duality, no one in movie. Satisfy my mind with my body. Baby, do it to me like Scooby. Keep it on me like the piece of Zuli.
The pressure can you handle it? Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it. The pressure can you handle it? Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it.
Tell the way your body nice and good up, yeah. And a DJ, but me want pull up, yeah. In a dance, where your F class full up, yeah. I create there, push and blame. Yeah, you see the girl now the corner. A wine like a head never sober. You see the girl if you know. From she was a wine, yeah, it's so far, yeah. You say anything you want me, we'll try for do it. All the things where your boyfriend don't like for do it. Your brown skin, yeah, me like to see. And me have for one price when me want for key, yeah. She said, check cause you're better than bad. Yeah, the thing loud, never drop his standard, yeah. Let me tell you if you never know, if a yard man need African girl. Yeah.
Just like pop got me, I'm rolling. No stalling, can put your legs round me. Yeah. Give me the bad boy, it don't take. Now I don't upgrade to big in my schooling. Yeah. Only they want look for my trouble. Why do they wanna bust my bubble? Say my bubble, my bubble. Profits must have come in double. The pressure can you handle it? Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it. The pressure can you handle it? Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it. Handle it, they don't fumble it. Humble, but don't try to stop it. Keep it stiff if I fight, lose it.
Hello guys, welcome to Boxing Blog Center, the home of Nigerian and African boxing. Please, if you're new to this channel, make sure you click the like and of course the subscribe button right now, and also go to the notification bell icon, click it and sell it all. So every time I drop a new banger, a new exclusive video, you'll definitely be notified. Well, we are live right now to discuss this very much interesting topic with our brothers in the house. We have Jaguar back from Nigeria after 2 weeks. Jaguar, how you doing, bro? How you doing, Jaguar? You hear me? Are you there, bro? Is Jaguar with us?
Yeah. I'm here, man. I'm here.
Yeah, how you doing? How's life, bro?
I'm good.
Yeah,
man.
you went to Nigeria, bro. How was it?
Bro. Honestly, apart from just the small things that are going on over there, it honestly feels good to go back and revitalize your body, mind, and soul because it's different over there. I mean, you do experience different things, but in in uh in every aspect, to touch down on the home soil where you were born in. It's good. It's good for the mental. It's good for the body. It's good for the mind. Just that in general, and especially when they welcome you with open arms, and they cook good food for you that you can't get where you're at. You know, so it's very good, man. I definitely recommend it to the ones that haven't been home in such a long time. It's good. I think it's good for the body.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it. Now, though, the topic is of course about Joshua, um, Wilder, and Dillian Whyte. Malik Scott, okay, Deontay's trainer, came out recently to say that yeah, Dillian Whyte would be a tougher fight for Wilder stylistically than Anthony Joshua, citing that AJ Joshua is a bigger target to hit, and by being better fundamentally, that makes him more vulnerable stylistically to get clipped by Deontay. What is your reaction to that, brother?
Wait, repeat that again. I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting this correctly. He said Dylan White is stylistically better.
A tougher
Repeat that again.
fight. He said Dillian Whyte would be a stylistically tougher fight for Wilder than Anthony Joshua, citing the fact that Joshua is, of course, the bigger man, so therefore he's the bigger target. Will be a big target to hit, and by being fundamentally better, that makes him more vulnerable stylistically to get clipped by Wilder.
Sometimes I'm trying to put together words that sometimes these trainers are just too much when it comes to certain fighters, or trying to makes it seem they're hating on a fighter, or they're up and down with it. But for him saying that, I just don't see that, man. I do not see that. One, because AJ has improved. He's one of the most improved fighters I have to applaud in the game. Listen, Anthony Joshua, when he lost to Andy Ruiz, did not have to improve on his game, or decide to if he decided to, let me not bulk down, or let me not lose the weight, let me not do this, let me just go back in there and do it all over again. But the man left it up to himself to lose the weight and continue to improve on his game. I can't say the same for Dylan White. You know, Dylan White is I don't the guy himself is unsure of what he wants to do in this game, what where he lies within the top five. Instead of Dylan White being maybe the four or top, they're putting him below Andrew Ruiz, below Luis Ortiz, and that should speak volume. I think Anthony Joshua will be the most toughest fight for Wilder, not the other way around. I do believe Wilder knocks out Dylan White quite easily, believe it or not, quite easily. Because just the way that I see that fight, how Dylan White approaches that fight. him being too cautious and trying to set up things, and boom, this guy Wilder finds a way and knocks him out. Much like how Povetkin found a way and knocked Dillian Whyte out. Dillian Whyte might be able to give Wilder a run for that money, but in the end, I just believe he'll land. And the way Wilder is right now and the way he's improving, it's gonna be a one of those fights to say I just don't see Dillian Whyte trying to get there. Listen, Dillian Whyte is a big dude. He comes in at least like 250 something, and him coming in any lower than that will cost him, will cost him dearly his punch resistance and everything that he does. For Malik Scott to say that is sometimes you have to wonder where these trainers are coming from. Give credit where credit is due, and I just don't see that happening when it comes to Whyte being a tougher fight than Anthony Joshua. I don't see that happening anyway.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. So, let's go on here. Ibrahim, your take on Malik Scott saying that Dillian Whyte would be a tougher fight for Deontay Wilder than Anthony Joshua.
That's what happens when you get high in the interview, right? Smoke a little something, someone puts a camera in your face and start talking a whole bunch of shit, really. That's like, it doesn't, like Ty's pretty much said it all. Like, in what context? You've even said, you said because he's fundamentally better, that makes him more vulnerable. Like, can someone please just dissect that for me? Like, I don't get it. The only thing I can think of is he's trying to motivate his fighter. Like, he's trying to get into Wilder's head. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, the only thing I can think of, because it just, like, I can't, like, he's level Wilder bashing, but I can't even see Adewale come in and even supporting this statement. Like, what's the context for this? Like, I don't get it. I do not get it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm done, bro. I'm done. There's nothing else to say. I'm not even gonna like.
It's hard to put in words, man. It is hard to put in words.
Like, that's it, bro.
Our brother Anthony, we have a different perspective, I guess. Anthony, what's up? Anthony, you did it. Do we have Anthony in the house? I guess he's not. He's with us, but he has to unmute. Maybe he's busy. Let's go down here. Isioma.
Yeah, I came right on just when Ibrahim was rounding off. I wish I had met Adewale's take. I'd fancy to hear his take. As the
all right, Adewale can come in there.
No problem. I'll go. I just wanted to hear the only true Deontay Wilder fans' view. That's me taking a jab at him anyway.
Well, he's Deontay Wilder fan. He's never hated, bro.
No, I mean, that's why I'm hailing him. You see, the thing is, like Ibrahim asked, you see someone is fundamentally better, but that makes him vulnerable. It's an irony, you know. I can't reconcile what Malik Scott is saying there. Except if he's trying to psych Wilder up, should it happen that our runaway master Fury does not eventually raise up to fight, and then Whyte is built to come in and take the place of Fury. I think that's him psyching him up. Okay, psyching his fighter Wilder up. Yeah, I also agree with Ibrahim's take that Whyte has shown some susceptibility when he takes hard punches. It was there against Joshua. It was there against Povetkin, and neither of these two hit as hard as the one punch wide, um, heavy wide landing of what is it called now? Of Wilder. I think it's even easier for Wilder to land White on the floor than it is to land Joshua on the canvas, and that's because Joshua has more fundamentals, more skills, more defenses, and a better chain than White does have. Okay. And because of this massive difference between Joshua and White, it does tell that Joshua could defend more against Wilder than White will defend against Wilder. And so it's easier for White, all right, to be flawed than it is against Joshua. And by the way, I mean, where is all of this talk even coming from? Can they just leave Joshua alone because this guy has proven through thick and thin to be a fighter in a class of his own? Okay, let them just get into the ring and do their fight and leave Joshua alone from all of these mundane talks. These are mundane comparisons. It just doesn't make any sense one bit to me. That's my opinion.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it, but if you look at it in a different way now.
That's not fair, though. It's not fair because if they don't mention Joshua, how are they going to sell their fight? Come on, bro.
Yeah, I was about to say the same. It's boxing, man. Anyway, let's get our brother on here.
These are leeches. These are leeches. Then they're proven to be leeches. Then if they cannot sell their own fights without mentioning someone else, but it is what it is anyway.
Thanks, brother. Let's get our brother on here. Adewale.
Hey, thank you for having me, bro. Hey, salute to everybody on the chat. I'm just going to say that Malik Scott's assessment of the situation is his opinion. He has a more educated opinion than me because he's a boxing trainer and he has been in the ring. He has had a boxing career. He has vast experience within the sport of boxing. But as far as I can see, I would think AJ is a tougher opponent for Wilder than Dillian. Because obviously, I don't even rate Dillian. I feel like Dillian will not even last 3 rounds against Wilder. Max 3-4 rounds, he'll be gone. He'll get knocked out. AJ has a very good offensive skills. And if he's implementing his offense, it will almost be like a defense. You know this popular saying that your best form of defense is your offense. So I feel like AJ has a good defensive skill already and a decent offensive skill, which makes it more difficult for Deontay Wilder to knock him out. But eventually, I would favor Wilder over AJ and Dillian Whyte for my reasons. I know what I see. And I definitely think that Malik Scott has his own personal opinions, which might be wrong. Everybody has an opinion, even though he has a slightly more educated opinion, being an experienced boxer, an experienced trainer. But I don't see it, man. I'll be honest with myself here. I think AJ will definitely be a tougher opponent than Dillian. But if I'm going to play devil's advocate, this is what I can say. If AJ presents an orthodox style, a more orthodox style for Deontay Wilder than Dillian Whyte would, it might play into Deontay Wilder's favor because Deontay himself has not really been an orthodox fighter. He's unorthodox. So that unorthodox style is a natural neutralizer for any orthodox style. And that's why the guy has one of the reasons why he has a high knockout percentage, because most people bring in the orthodox style to fight against him, and he somehow knows how to predict. He somehow knows how to predict where their head will be. He can almost predict what their next moves will be. So for that reason, it makes them more vulnerable. So I can see why if you present an orthodox style, you become more vulnerable for an unorthodox fighter like Deontay. But just being realistic, look at the entire package that AJ brings versus what Dillian Whyte brings. Dillian is a way easier fight for Wilder, man. In my opinion, that's how I see it.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it. Brahim, do you want to counter him or what? Or do you have anything to say?
But Ray, would like to hear your point of view, bro.
Me?
Yeah.
Yo, Woko.
What do you think?
Well,
let me say this.
Ray's trying to get an interview, bro.
Is it? No, not that, bro. No, you don't really care about it, bro. It's just that. Okay, Ty, you want to come in? Yeah, come in, bro.
Let me say this. Okay, listen, you're either baiting Dillian Whyte, and then you're making it. You're giving Deontay Wilder the perspective that Dillian Whyte is going to be a harder fight than AJ. Because now, if that happens, where Wilder's relatively supposed to take out Dillian Whyte more quicker and just in a better fashion, because I just feel like Dillian Whyte, he's gonna get hurt with Wilder. I mean, he's been hurt with AJ. Imagine what Wilder's gonna do to him. So my point is, if Wilder goes in there like, oh crap, Dillian Whyte is gonna be a hard fight for me, and then Wilder misses the opportunity to knock out Dillian Whyte, or misses the opportunity for him to get the edge, and let's Dillian Whyte stay in that fight longer than that he has to be. We all know what happens when that happens. Eventually, White's gonna get the upper hand and win that fight. He should have never said that to begin with at all. He should have never said that. The Dillian Whyte fight should be a fight that he should be hyping Wilder up, because a fight with Dillian Whyte should be a fight where he fought Brazil, and bro, he took Brazil's soul, because that guy has not been the same ever. That guy has not been the same. I think that guy's retired, man. I think he's retired. So that is the point I'm trying to make. You shouldn't try to invite that kind of energy. A fight where you're supposed to take a guy out quicker, but you let him hang around in the ring too long, and then he ends up being the victor, is what I could see happening if he proceeds to go on with that kind of mentality.
Well, you're kind of right though, anyway. Adewale, any counter?
I actually do have a counter. That was Malik Scott's opinion, and I'm pretty sure he was sitting down in the middle of an interview and someone asked him that question. He didn't just randomly come up with comparing Whyte and AJ. Someone must have asked him that question. But when the real fight will happen eventually, I believe Wilder Whyte will eventually happen. I believe it might even happen next, because I don't even trust Tyson Fury will show up for the third fight.
Well, hasn't Tyson Fury gone back to camp? I read somewhere that he's going to Vegas also. Bro, he was there before, and the fight did not happen. So I don't even know, man. And I waste time.
No, bro, I'm already gone beyond the point of ever listening or believing anything that Tyson Fury says. I don't believe him. I don't listen to him. If people make videos about him, I don't watch it. Now, if Wilder Whyte ever happens, I believe strongly that Deontay Wilder knows deep down in his heart that Whyte is not even a problem. But what will make Wilder more motivated to go into the fight will be the trash talk, the build up to the fight where Dillian Whyte will be cussing him out. Oh, I smashed your girl. Oh, your kids are mine. You just say all that kind of crazy stuff. That would make Deontay extremely angry, and will make him destroy him quickly. 2 rounds, he's gone. So I'm very confident. Dillian Whyte is nothing.
Listen, now that I think about it, if I say it again, if Whyte lets Dillian Whyte hang around long enough, bro, it just might play in the favor of Whyte, man. It might play in his favor if Wilder does not get Dillian Whyte out quicker than what he's supposed to. It's gonna play in Dillian Whyte's favor.
Bro, you know what I think? It's possible. There is a possibility that could be the case. But most importantly, Dillian has always gassed out at the later rounds in his fights. This guy always gasses out and he always gets knocked down every single time he fights. So I do not see anything Dillian Whyte can do with Deontay. Whether that fight ends quickly, whether that fight goes to like 10 rounds, either ways, he's going to get destroyed because he's just not that good. He's simply not that good. If it's AJ, bro, AJ Wilder, in my opinion, is like 55-45 in Wilder's favor. Because I don't know, man, AJ is a sucker for the right hand. He always gets touched. And he's going to get touched. But when it comes to Dillian Whyte, it's like 80-20. Whyte has a tiny chance to beat Wilder. He has a chance, but the chances are so slim.
You just like I've listened to you lot just go on about 3 rounds and 2 rounds. I just think you lot just chatting a lot of crud, like very disrespectful. Like, what's that based on?
Their careers.
You know, there's a possibility. There's a possibility that Whyte also can actually beat Wilder.
Exactly.
He's had tougher fights. He's had tougher fights than Wilder has had.
I gave him 20, a whole entire 20%. That's a lot. That's a lot, bro. 20% is enough to knock Wilder out. But I don't see, man. If Luis Ortiz could not do the job twice, bro, there is no way in hell Dillian Whyte can touch Wilder. Bro, you can't compare Ortiz and Whyte. Ortiz is by far better than Dillian Whyte. By far. They're not comparable. Bro, a 45-year-old Ortiz still beats Dillian Whyte.
Fundamentally.
See, without a bias mind. I recommend you watch.
No. But I'll ask you again, based on what?
Based on what? Based on what?
Based on what that Luis Ortiz 45 will destroy Dillian Whyte? Based on what?
Yes,
I think
very good question. Very good question. Look,
yes.
I need you. I need you.
No. We're talking about.
I'm trying to answer that question now. I'm trying to answer that question.
Okay, cool.
Let me answer the question, bro. Without a biased perspective, I encourage you once again, go watch Wilder Ortiz 1 and Wilder Ortiz 2, and then go watch the best Dillian Whyte performance ever in his career, and you compare those two fighters and come back and tell me that they are comparable.
Yeah, but you just, that's a slander against Wilder, because we know Wilder's not skilled. We know Ortiz was boxing his head off. We know that. But that doesn't mean that's going to happen against Dillian Whyte, because Dillian Whyte's fought tougher competition than Wilder up until that point. So you're proving my point.
Ortiz was not a better boxer in the first fight. In the second fight, yes, it was. In the second fight, yes, it was. But in the first fight, Deontay was coming back. The first 3 rounds were like, it could have gone either way. The 4th round was when the action began, and it was a back and forth. Wilder dropped him in the 5th round. Ortiz came back in the 7th round, and Wilder finished him off in the 10th round. So that fight was a close fight up until the knockout. In the second fight, it was 6-0. Ortiz was leading. He won every single round, no doubt. You can't tell me that Dillian Whyte in his entire career has shown you anything that makes you believe he can box as beautifully as Luis Ortiz did in the second Deontay Wilder fight. You can't tell me. And in what fight?
But you don't need to box.
You said he has. Can you tell us what fight that was? Can you tell us?
No.
I want you to tell us. You said Dillian Whyte has proved himself. So tell us what fight that was.
Yeah, so let me answer. Okay. So what you're saying to me is the most beautiful boxer always wins the fight. I don't give a fuck if Dillian Whyte can box as beautiful as Ortiz. That doesn't matter. But in Dillian Whyte's fights, in his opponents, yes, he has shown me more than Luis Ortiz has against his opponents. That actually, you know what? He has fought the tougher opponents, and he's come through. Than Luis Ortiz.
You're telling me Dillian Whyte has fought tougher opponents than Luis Ortiz?
The one time or the two times that
Are you saying Dillian Whyte has fought tougher opponents than Luis Ortiz?
Yes, I am.
Who is on Dillian Whyte's record that is as good as Deontay Wilder?
Oh, come! Oh my God! And he lost both times. Yeah, he lost. So when he stepped up, he lost both times. No.
Who on Dillian Whyte's record is as good as Luis Ortiz? Is as good as Deontay Wilder?
Can I come back? Yeah. Yes. Can I come back? Okay. So because we're talking about Luis Ortiz. No. That's not how it works. No. So we're talking about Luis Ortiz.
That's not how it works.
Can I come back? You've made your statement. Let me come back. We're talking about Luis Ortiz, not Deontay Wilder. when Ortiz stepped up to that level, the very first time was against Wilder, and he lost both times. Previous to that, tell me who has fought that's as good as Dillian Whyte's record. You answer that question.
No. You're moving the goalpost. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do all that ring around rosy with you. And today, I think I'm actually ready for you. I'm actually ready for you, bro. I'm ready for you.
There we go.
Now, the original question I asked was,
that was the match.
Who of Dillian Whyte's resume
I've just made that question irrelevant. I've just made that question irrelevant because he lost. We're not talking about Deontay Wilder. We're talking about Lewis Ortiz right now, bro. We're talking about Lewis Ortiz. Okay, do you want me to explain it?
Yes.
Okay, I'll explain it. That question you've asked is irrelevant because when he stepped up, he lost. Prior to Deontay Wilder, which he lost to, who else is on Ortiz's record that's better than Dillian Whyte's opponents?
Okay, let me prove it to you that the question is not irrelevant. In the fight against Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, the first time.
Why are we going back to Deontay Wilder? He
was able to prove to us. No. I'm actually confused. I don't even understand. I don't understand where you're going. But I can explain to you where I'm going and where I'm coming from.
He lost. He lost. It doesn't matter.
The first fight, Luis Ortiz versus Deontay Wilder. No, bro, don't be trolling, bro. This is what UK fans do. Don't do that. Don't be like that. Don't be like those. Don't be like those Eddie Hearn. Don't be like those Eddie Hearn bots on Twitter, on YouTube that trolls everybody. Don't do that, bro.
That's what you're doing.
Regular conversation.
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing because you're pinning on someone that he lost to you. So let's talk about people that he won and people that Dillian Whyte won against. And let's compare those fighters.
I'm trying to explain to you
that they both won against. Let's compare those fighters that they both won against.
Okay, and then we can decide. Let me explain what I'm trying to do here. Let me explain what I'm trying to do here. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to compare the skill set of Dillian Whyte and Luis Ortiz because you're big in Dillian Whyte
because they haven't got a common opponent. They haven't got a common opponent. They haven't got a common opponent, so we can't. Yes, it is. So we have to look at who they're for and compare those people and say who's better. So let's do that.
Listen. How about we do this? Oh, we're not going to get anywhere with this argument, but I'm just going to ask you a final question. Do you genuinely believe? Ibrahim, do you genuinely believe that Dillian Whyte is a better fighter than Luis Ortiz?
What do you mean by fighter? You mean boxer? He's a better boxer.
He's a better fighter than Luis Ortiz. He would win a fight against. Who wins the fight? Dillian Whyte and Luis Ortiz?
Yes, I do. They fought for him a couple times. And he hasn't taken it. So I do believe that. Is Ortiz a better boxer? Yes, he's a better boxer. But that doesn't mean he's going to win the fight. That's the point I've made clear already.
Of course, there is no guarantee in any fight, man. Especially in the heavyweight division, one punch can change everything. But if Dillian Whyte and Luis Ortiz were matched up, brother. If Dillian Whyte and Luis Ortiz were matched up in 2017, who would have won that fight?
In 2017?
Between 2017 and 2019.
That's just so irrelevant. Let's talk about today. The match up today, Dillian Whyte beats him, in my opinion.
Right now, if they get matched up today, I will put my money on Ortiz.
That's fine. But I disagree.
That's cool. That's cool. And I'm telling you, the reason why I believe in Ortiz is because of what he showed me against Deontay Wilder. That's all. Okay. That's all. There is nothing in all of Dillian Whyte's victories. He hasn't shown me anything that makes me rip him to that level.
But he lost. So that wasn't a victory for him. He lost.
He lost what? I don't, bro. Man, you're trolling, bro. You're actually trolling.
I'm not trolling. I'm giving you clarity on what you're saying because it doesn't make sense. You're talking about a fight that he lost, but he proved to you something, but he lost. So what does that prove? It doesn't prove anything to me.
Is it possible? Sorry, I just joined the conversation again. Can I just ask a question?
Yes, please.
Seriously, and I'm not trolling Ortiz. Okay, but what has he done though? Like even as an amateur, what has he achieved? Because this team, you see, sometimes I actually don't get it. I know he's skillful and blah blah blah, but even as an amateur, what did he achieve? Did he even make it to the Olympics? Did he win anything?
Let me answer that question. Ibrahim, please don't troll me. Now let me tell you. Cool. The fight against Deontay Wilder, the two fights, first fight, second fight, the skill set that Ortiz showed me makes me believe a lot in Luis Ortiz, that he has the capacity to beat almost every other heavyweight. That's what I genuinely believe.
But that's not the answer to my question. What has he achieved? As an amateur and as a pro, what has he achieved?
Well, as an amateur, I know he had about maybe 100 and something fights and he only lost a few. As a professional, he hasn't really...
Did he even make
I'm
it
not
to
sure,
the
man.
Olympics? He didn't.
I
He didn't
don't think
achieve
so.
one.
I don't think.
Exactly.
I don't even think.
Because-
I think this guy was already in the US by the time he was supposed to go to the Olympics, something like that. Because
He was
him and
60 when he went to
Dorticos,
the
you remember Dorticos, the
Dorticos,
cruiserweight,
yeah.
the former cruiserweight guy. They
Yeah,
moved to the
Dorticos.
US around the same time, right?
Bro,
And
basically, what you're
once you
saying
move
is
to the US,
his claim to fame is that he did well against Wilder, but love. That's his claim to fame. That's his
yes.
like his biggest
In my
kudos to you.
books,
Okay,
in my
that's
books,
his
listen,
victory. That's his
in my
victory. That's
books,
his victory.
in
His
my
victory is
books,
that he lost to Wilder, but he
Luis
did well.
Ortiz losses to Wilder were his claim to fame in my books.
Okay, right. So the reason why I asked that question, okay, Dillian Whyte is not really my reason why I asked that question. So Dillian Whyte is not really my cup of tea. Ortiz is not my cup of tea either. But I just asked that question based on, I mean, I look at the people that my concern with Ortiz. I'm not saying Ortiz is not a good fighter. I'm not saying that he's not skillful. But my concern with Ortiz is that he has not really fought in, let's be honest, apart from Deontay Wilder. And that's a big concern for me. So like how am I able to actually gauge the level of his skills? How am I able to say that yes, this guy is definitely one of the real deals? Because he hasn't been Dillian Whyte. You may say whatever you want to say about Dillian Whyte, but he has fought some good fighters, man. Even if there's a situation where he literally scraped through a victory, but at least he's been in there and he's won. But Ortiz, who has he? He did well against Wilder, but he got beat. He got sparked out twice. But apart from that, who else though? So that's the concern I have for Ortiz. Like I don't know where to place him. He has not really fought anyone that I can say.
In today's boxing world, unfortunately, politics interferes a lot with big fights. So for that reason, a lot of these fighters don't have the opportunity to fight who they're supposed to fight. And at the other end of the spectrum, some of these big fighters, they control who they're supposed to fight, who they fight next. For example, Canelo. Canelo can pick and choose who he needs to fight. Canelo is literally trying to make the Killer Plant fight because he knows this will be the great opportunity for him to become undisputed at least one time in his career.
I think he's made it for November.
Yeah.
Now, at the other end of the spectrum, there are some very, very good fighters that are considered high risk, low reward. Such fighters find it difficult to get big fights because if you fight against those types of people, you're not going to make too much money and you stand a great chance of losing the fight. And that is the category that Luis Ortiz falls into. Dillian Whyte, on the other hand.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? And I want you to be, if you can try to, you see, I know you like Ortiz in a way. You may not be his massive fan, but you do like the guy.
Shall I be honest? He doesn't like Ortiz. But he wants to use that to give Wilder credit. That's what it is. He doesn't care about
this question. Let me ask you, do you really think that PBC, they have a lot of trust in Ortiz? Because if we're talking about opportunities, Ortiz, even at the age of 41, 42 right now, in that they are stable, that PBC stable, there are guys they can still put Ortiz. If Ortiz goes in there with a Charles Martin and he looks good, I'm going to rate him. I'm going to say, wow, okay, this is, apart from Wilder, now this is a good fight. Andy Ruiz, there are guys in there, even Konaki. So I don't understand the politics in the same stable. So let's even assume that he's not able to get the Dillian Whyte fight. He's not able to get any other fight outside of the PBC, but inside of that PBC, they've got some good heavyweights there, you know.
Yeah, bro. If we're being fair with ourselves, Ortiz is getting decent fights within the PBC. He got Deontay Wilder twice. That alone is enough evidence that he's getting very good fights within PBC.
Come on, man. Move on from that fight. Other fights. That's what we're talking about.
Bro, we can't hear you. You're echoing.
You're echoing big time, Ibrahim.
Okay. I'll be quiet.
But you get me. The fight that we want to see, if he can't get someone else, he can get Andy Ruiz, Konaki, Charles Martins. Those fights might be one of those fights might actually happen next. So if one of those fights happens next, are you going to give PBC some credit? And don't even think I give a damn about PBC. I don't give a damn. And for the record, I'm a huge Luis Ortiz fan. You see the first fight between Wilder and Ortiz? I've watched that fight from head to toe at least 5 times to tell you how genuinely entertained I was with that fight. That fight was such a blockbuster. That fight was as exciting as AJ Klitschko. AJ Klitschko was extremely exciting.
It was a good fight. That was a good fight. That was a good
You understand?
fight.
So yeah. So in my opinion, I just feel like I like this Luis Ortiz guy. He has proved to me that he can punch, and he has very good defensive skills, and he has extremely good counter-attack abilities. Dillian hasn't proven that to me. Even though Dillian has beat a former world champion in Joseph Parker, he beat Oscar Rivas, he managed to beat the grandpa Povetkin, and I don't know, man. I don't know. These guys that I just mentioned, I don't even rate them that much, bro. Luis Ortiz beats all these guys, bro. All these guys that I just mentioned. Parker.
You can't say,
of course.
Come on, Ade. Now
I'm being honest. I'm being genuinely honest with you now.
Don't be. You can't be authoritative like you're sure. You can't in any fight.
Of course, bro. It's boxing. Anybody can lose. It's boxing, my brother. Brother, I need you to understand that. I am a logical person. I would never give any fighter 100% victory chances over another fighter. Yeah.
Okay. Let me come. Listen, the reason why everybody's so judgmental about Luis Ortiz is because of the way he's been put and the way he puts himself. Listen, Luis Ortiz was supposed to fight a lot of these top level fighters, but for one reason or the other, it didn't happen. But mainly because of his doing when it comes to steroids. That I think that cost him dearly. When he was supposed to fight a lot of these most important boxers. But Luis Ortiz, I do believe in his skill set because he does have a good amateur background. He does have an Olympic amateur background, which I think is also impressive. But it's just one way or another, the way his career was ran, it's just, it's one had to do with steroids and one had to do with the problem where the fight wasn't properly announced, wasn't properly done. That's why people don't really see him as how they're supposed to see him. Only if you respect his skill set, you can say that he beats certain guys, which I do believe he does beat certain guys. He has that. He does beat Dillian Whyte, but as of right now, I think old age has eventually caught up to him. We all see it. We can't lie about his age. We can't. But if he was younger, I think he'll definitely be in the top 3. I definitely believe that. But if you can't hide the old age, he will still give Dillian Whyte problems. He will still give right now he'll give Dillian Whyte problems. Right now he'll give what's this guy's name? Andy Ruiz problems. Parker problems. Above that, I think he's gonna have a hard time. He's probably gonna get knocked out. But below that, I think those guys will be a easy fight for him.
Thanks, brother. Isiama, you coming in?
Man.
Are you there, Isiama?
Oh yes, I'm here. I was just about to submit some of the things Jaguar just submitted, but if I should add, I think if I want to mention names to toe the line of Jaguar, I would say that a Povetkin, a Parker, okay, let me just limit it to these two that Dillian has fought. If they go into the ring with Ortiz today, there's no guarantee that Ortiz is going to have a smooth ride. There's also the possibility that they could floor Ortiz. So we cannot take Dillian's props away from him. He has proven that he may not have the admirable boxing skill, but everyone does not have to be a boxer. Okay, if you can fight, if you can throw punches, if you can land and fall your opponent, at the end of the day, it will not be on basis of point count. it will be on the basis of knockout. So let's not take Dillian's credit away from him. Much as we may not we may not lean towards some fighters, if we want to look at them objectively, we can also not take away their credits from them. And I think that, like I said earlier on, there is no 100% guarantee that Wilder would knock Dillian out stone cold. We expect that that's what the outcome should be, but there's always a shocker. Okay. Ortiz, Wilder. Ortiz was even able to do the much he could do against Wilder because Wilder's defense skills are almost non-existent. I don't know if he has improved on them now, but right, they're almost non-existent. And we've always said, up until the Fury fight, that it would take a skillful fighter, skillful, formidable fighter to expose Wilder's inadequacies. And that's what Fury came to do. I hope that the Malik Scott, who is bringing up and steering this conversation we're having now, has helped to fill in those gaps. If those gaps are not filled at all, my heart will really be racing for Wilder if he goes into the ring against very skilled fighters.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it. Do any of you guys want to add to it?
Man, I think it's
pretty much it, man. I just wanted to, stand up for Dillian Whyte's honor. My thing, no, it wasn't trolling.
The British guy here, though, bro. Like, let's give it right here.
But that's fine. But I sat there and listened for like good 10 minutes when everyone was just making Dillian to sound like it was just some second-class boxer. So I just had to step in. I wasn't disputing what they were saying, but it was just very disrespectful. They're like, he hasn't got a chance, 20%. I'm like, you're talking as if this guy's an amateur. This guy is a very, very credible heavyweight.
He's a very credible bum. He's a credible bum.
Yeah, Dewale, you that is what you know, bro. If we should look at it though, White has fought the better fighters than Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying.
How?
Yeah, he has. He has.
How?
Okay, let's remove.
Who on Dillian Whyte's record is as good as Tyson Fury 1 and 2, Luis Ortiz 1 and 2? So that's 4 fights in Deontay Wilder's favor. Name 4 people on Dillian Whyte's favor that match up.
Povetkin is way better than Luis Ortiz on record.
He is.
Is way better than Luis Ortiz.
Povetkin is better than Ortiz.
I disagree with you guys, bro.
Better than Luis Ortiz.
Bro, he is better than Luis. What do you mean I disagree, bro? He's better than Luis Ortiz.
I'm not even kidding. I completely disagree with you guys.
On record. So back that up.
Even on achievement and everything,
yes.
Bro. Everything.
Yes, on record, yes.
Everything.
Fighters, no. On record, yes. But with their skill set, no.
Bro, Povetkin is way more better than Luis Ortiz on everything. Achievements, record. What do you mean? Even a resume,
too, bro. Right? In the amateurs.
Povetkin was also Olympic champion, bro, and a world champion. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Povetkin got Olympic
world
champion. He won a secondary world title. But I don't think he doesn't have as good enough skill set as Luis Ortiz.
Based on what?
It does.
Man,
based on what I've seen. Based on what I see.
Yeah,
bro.
based on throwing this. What did you just see?
Jab, based on throwing the straight left hand, the right hook, the uppercut, the footwork, the defensive skills, the counter attack abilities. Bro, I see everything that Luis Ortiz does, and I rate him higher than Povetkin.
Have you seen me, bro?
Luis Ortiz will be Luis Ortiz will be forgotten, but Povetkin never.
Yeah, because Ortiz did not have the opportunity. That's all. The 2 opportunities he had, he lost.
Whatever the excuses are, the facts are the facts. Whatever the excuses are, the facts are the facts. on
I
record,
think it's just
you
the
might think what
opportunity
you
for Luis Ortiz that really stopped him. If he would have fought Vladimir Klitschko, a lot of these tough guys that have been named for him, for like I said, one reason or the other, the fight just never happened. I think if he would have fought these, and if we could have make a conclusion to say, okay, yes, Luis Ortiz is a tough fighter for half of these guys, but we don't know. That's the question. We don't know.
That's it.
perfectly
That
said,
is the
bro.
problem.
Perfectly said.
We don't know.
That's it. But I agree with that statement. I agree with that. But then you cannot take cups away from others and take this from based on
even
that.
Samuel Peter on record is better than Luis Ortiz.
Of
I
course,
don't know
Peter.
about
Peter
that.
was a world
I don't know
champion,
about
man.
that. I don't know about that. That's
No,
really-
Peter was a world champion, man.
On record, he's better than Luis Ortiz.
But skill sets wise, Ortiz would destroy him, bro.
We're not talking about the skill set here. We're talking about what they've done, what they've nipped in the bag, what you can refer to, what are the references.
No, but you remember the explanation that I gave earlier about certain fighters not given the opportunity because they are considered high risk, low reward.
That's the irrespective. On paper, and we can't say he hasn't had opportunities. He has had opportunities. He had opportunity to fight both Dillian Whyte and AJ.
He hasn't had opportunities, bro. He hasn't had opportunities, bro.
There were offers on the table for both of those guys, both Dillian and AJ. The opportunities were there. He didn't take them. So you can't say he didn't have the opportunity.
No, that's a lie, bro. That is a lie.
So what? He didn't come out. He still didn't come out and said AJ offered him 5 mil. Both him and his manager didn't come out and say that.
To say what?
So what's the lie? That he was offered £5 million to fight AJ.
Yeah, and he turned it down. Yeah, and I blame him for that.
So that's an opportunity. Exactly. So that's an opportunity.
But that wasn't, bro.
Well,
listen,
guys,
that was
when
there was a time he was signed to Macro Boxing. How come he didn't get that? Well, let's just end it, man.
Breaking news, guys. Deontay Wilder's trainer once again, Malik Scott, spoke on Deontay Wilder's future. He said that Wilder will knock out Tyson Fury and never lose another fight afterwards. Anthony Joshua or Usyk next. Your take on this, Ibrahim, quick.
Yeah, listen, bro. Like that's what he should be saying. I'm not gonna hate on a trainer for saying his guy's gonna knock out his opponent and no one in this world can touch him. That's what AJ believed. That's what Dillian Whyte believed. That's what Wilder believed. That's what Fury believed. And that's what they should believe if they're gonna be champions. I'm saying this guy's a warrior, so like that's cool. He should be saying that. That's normal.
Adewale.
Yeah, man. Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with Ibrahim on this one. But you know, man, Malik Scott is just doing what he has to do. He's just giving the right responses to the questions. What did he say about AJ Usyk again?
He said AJ Usyk will be next.
We'll fight the winner, yeah.
Oh, he said they want to fight the winner. Man,
I
hopefully,
we'll fight the winner, yeah.
I hope that happens. First and foremost, I hope Tyson Fury shows up for the trilogy so that Wilder gets his opportunity for revenge. Secondly, if that happens, I hope AJ beats Usyk and there wouldn't be any excuses given. The winner of Wilder Fury, AJ Usyk, should go for undisputed. But if Usyk wins that fight against AJ, then we are looking at 2 more years.
Thanks, brother. Isiama. Come here, bro.
You know, there was this time Johnny Nelson hosted AJ Fury, David Hay. I think there was this British boxer's name again that fought in the 90s. I'm trying to remember his name.
The tall Dave, the one with the glass jaw.
Yeah, the one with a couple of them were with Johnny
David
Nelson.
Price. Yes, David Price.
No, not David Price. He's the black judge.
Oliarison.
I just don't know what.
Oliarison.
No. Frank Bruno, exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Bruno.
Frank Bruno. Yeah, they were having a roundtable talk, and I think it was Fury that Nelson referred to as being very confident and saying that he believes no one can ever beat him. And one of the fighters, I think it was David Hay, who said, well, there's nobody in this room who believes the other person can beat him. and that is the mindset of a fighter. It also is the mindset of the trainers of fighters. The trainers have to be conditioned with that mindset so that they can transfer it to their fighters.
Mm.
Okay, the reality eventually dawns on the fighters when they are locked in there in the ring. So yeah, Malik Scott is right to so declare that Wilder is going to knock Fury out. Does Wilder have the potency to knock Fury out? Yes, he does. Um, yeah, I was going there. I was going there. Wilder, does he have the potential to knock Fury out? He does. Will that happen? It's left to be seen. To never lose again, well, again, um, a lot of these fighters don't think they ever will be beaten. Okay, look, it's even as funny as you bring up, say, who should I think of now? Okay, take Charles Martin to go fight Deontay Wilder. Charles Martin will tell you he's gonna make a light work of Deontay Wilder. So these are fighters. That's their talk. We cannot carpet Malik Scott for that. All right. Um, Whoever the winner of AJ and Usyk is, definitely will have to fight the winner of Wilder Fury. But Malik Scott will have to say that they are fighting the winner of AJ Usyk because Malik Scott believes that his fighter would beat Fury. But I do know that somewhere in the corner of his heart, when he's done saying that, he goes on his knees and prays, Father, you know I've said this, please make it happen.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Sajagbe. Are you with us, bro?
Yes, bro.
Okay.
You know, you're only as strong as your weakest link, or strongest chain. Something it goes. The saying goes like that. I'm glad Wilder's able to bring in Malik Scott, because listen, whether people like it or not, Wilder needed Malik Scott. Just the way that brother thinks, Wilder needed that. Just because he needs somebody to tell him, bro. He told Wilder, the shit that you don't do in camp, for you to be good, you will have to do these things, right? And that's just the honest truth. And I think Wilder respected that part, because for some reason Wilder was not listening to JD's. What's the other guy? His other trainer, Mark Breland.
Mark Breland.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just he doesn't respect them, or he just wasn't listening to them. For him to know my road work is important. My doing those runs are important. All these things that Malik Scott said that Wilder started doing is part of him being a strong chain within his camp. If he didn't bring Malik Scott in, Mark Breland will still be the weakest. Let me not say Mark Breland. JD's the head coach will be the weakest link in all of them. In every one of the camps, I believe JD's is the weakest link, because he does not have that. He does not have that knowledge that
I agree, bro.
that Wilder needs. He doesn't have it, and you got to think about it, right? Wilder knows it, that JD's doesn't have that boxing expertise that he needs. And for that, what kind of respect are you going to give your coach if you think about it? Are you going to listen to him that much? Mark Breland was able to bring him that far because of what he's able to accomplish. JD's wasn't. JD's and Wilder have been together. I like Wilder because he has that respect for people to give him that. He's just not gonna up and leave them, but he gives them that respect. So I believe he gave JD's that respect. But I'm glad he brought in Malik Scott, and Malik Scott said what he said, man. Every one of these trainers got to be the strongest link, and he said it, and what he said is true, and Wilder has to believe it. If Wilder doesn't believe it, He's gonna go in there and do the old Wilder, and just his accomplishments won't be great. But listen, for my personal opinion, right? I think, listen, to be great, to be a great fighter, whether you like it or not, you're gonna suffer multiple losses. Multiple losses. To be a great fighter, you have to look past that. You have to go past that, because these legends in the past, even Manny Pacquiao now, Manny Pacquiao has lost, but what we remember the most was not because of the opponent he fought, is the fight that he gave us. That's what we remember the most. Like I've been saying from the go, it's the fight that we remember the most. That is that's what we're gonna remember these fighters for. Now we're gonna remember Wilder for Tyson Fury, Wilder for Tyson Fury 2, now Tyson Fury 3. We're gonna remember these fights, and that's what there is in boxing. As for me, if Wilder knocks out Tyson Fury and the way he knocked out Dominic Brazil, Tyson Fury will never be the same again. Him and his mental issues, it'll start back up again, and I believe he's just gonna retire on that.
It's already started, man.
I
Thanks,
believe
brother.
that. I'm praying it does happen. I'm praying it does happen, because I can't wait till I see it, man.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it. Mao Joe, your take on this?
Right. So for me, right, now I don't really know Malik Scott's credential as a trainer, because he's not really proving anything that we all know of. But I still believe that Malik Scott is probably one of the best things that's happened to Deontay Wilder as of late. And I'll tell you why I say that. See, Malik Scott comes across as a very, very knowledgeable guy. He actually comes across, he's very, very eloquent. I like that. He talks with a lot of confidence as well. Yes, I don't like the way Deontay Wilder treated his former trainer, what's that guy, McBrilland. But I still believe that what Malik Scott is doing with Deontay Wilder at the minute, I'm not even talking about the training aspect now. I'm talking about building his public confidence. Basically just building Deontay Wilder to be confident in himself again, because I believe that loss to Tyson Fury really knocked down Deontay Wilder's confidence. But at this point, I think that Wilder has got his confidence back, and Wilder is not talking a whole lot of shit to the media. He's allowing Malik Scott to do it, because as we all know, that Wilder is not that eloquent. He sometimes he doesn't know how to really express his thoughts, and he most times it comes across as a negative guy. It comes across as unpleasant. So Malik Scott is doing a great job with just talking to the media, building his confidence, and I believe, and one of the greatest things that's happened to Deontay Wilder is that loss, because I always have this belief that until you lose, you're always going to have the fear of losing, because when you've not lost, it's almost like, oh my God, I don't want to lose. But when you've lost, it's like, okay, I've crossed that bridge now. Now we can forge ahead. Now I've broken that barrier of, oh, I don't want to lose, I've lost. So what else is there to lose? So I think right now Deontay Wilder should be able, I hope that he's been grasping a lot in training, and I hope that he goes in there, no fear of losing, no fear of getting too excited or whatever. Just go in there and do a good job, So, but with Malik Scott, I actually do like the guy. Yes, what he said comparing Deontay Wilder with Muhammad Ali and blah, 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 comparing Deontay Wilder to Muhammad Ali, I didn't really appreciate that. But at the end of the day, all he's trying to do is build the confidence of his fighter. So Malik Scott, kudos to you, man. Say whatever you got to say to get Deontay Wilder to where he needs to be, because personally, I want to see that fraud, really. And I believe that if Fury loses, he's gonna retire from boxing, and I want to see that fraud out of boxing. So I just hope Wilder is able to do it. And yeah, kudos to Malik Scott, man. That's all I got to say.
Thanks, brother. God bless you. So I want to say big thanks to each and every one of you. Shout out to my brother Adiwale, Isioma, Tai, Mayo. Son of is here. Interesting. The guy. Where did you put son of? Alpha, Deontay.
I'm full up, man. How far?
You know, why you not come earlier?
I had came, but I had to come off, so I came back. What are you guys yarning about?
That's good. Anyway, we talked about a lot. You know, we're actually live right now, so you guys should hold on though. Muna not come out yet. Muna hold on. Let's talk about this Andrews Jr. surgery that he just had recently. Crazy, huh? I read about it. Don't know if you guys heard it, but let's talk about that right now. So guys, stay tuned for more exclusive material here. God bless you all.